The bees are going into their hive now. The beekeeper got them from this year suggested just leaving the nukes sit there for a few hours and get accustomed to their own home, and then they'll go in, and then you can move your frames over. I've never heard anybody doing it like that. From my offhand knowledge, or the beekeeper last year, or my buddy from home, Sean, that brought us down a swarm, you need to move them over. They're all on the front. I don't know if you can see. They're too hot in there. They're baking in the sun inside that nuke, and they're not going to want to leave their frames where they already have started honeycomb on. Everybody does things differently. I don't really agree with the beekeeper this year's instructions for Bobby. So he thought about it and looked at the bees and decided he'd go ahead and move them over like we did before. Being a wise man, he's being his wife's degree of careful and put on his beekeeping suit. So common sense and directions from my buddy from home. A book to boy's not going to steer you wrong, so we're going to go ahead and move him over. He put his suit on. That is a lot of honeycomb they started building inside that nuke. You really can't see. There's some up flying around and away. If I suddenly stop filming, it's because I've decided it's time to move because I'm not suited up. I'm about 12, 15 feet away, so it should be fine. You can have some flying around irritated, but they should go right back into their hive here in a minute. You just pick the frame up from your nuke and you lift it out as steady, slow, and careful as you possibly can, and put it down into your hive in the same order that you took it out. Bees are particular little creatures, and in whatever order you take them out in, you're supposed to put them back in. You can kind of hear them when I stop talking with their buzzing. They're all flying around rapidly. And it's always a good idea to wash your beekeeping suit every time you wear it, even if you didn't feel one get on you and try to sting. The pheromones they put off is what sends them into attack mode to sting or just land on you, and the smell from previous stings and other bees being on there is going to attract bees to you that normally wouldn't have come onto your suit. But they don't want to sting you. They just want to be left alone. But if they feel like you're attacking their hive and their queen, they will sting. Honeybees sting once and they die because their stinger comes out of their abdomen and literally rips them apart. There's other breeds of bees that can sting you and live. Some breeds of bees, only the males have the ability to sting, which is pretty common. So he's got his frames moved over, and he's going to go ahead and leave that nuke open, try to get it out of the direct sun as much as possible. And then they'll go ahead, and stragglers should go ahead and rejoin their queen in their hive. You're always going to lose a few bees. Oh, I'm not running away, but the buggy was. You're always going to lose a few when you're transferring, but you shouldn't lose very many. Yep, they're flying around, want to know what the heck's going on. There's probably 30 or 40 bees flying around. None of them seem to be landing on Bobby to sting. None of them are landing on me to sting. Puts the lid back on. There's a top divider bar. Another hive will go on, the hive box will go on top of there eventually when they need it. Put the top on. You're done. Leave them alone. It's best to leave them be for a couple of days. Let them get situated. We have 2 water sources nearby, a creek and a pond, so we don't need to set water out for them. If you do, you want about 10 feet away at least. They don't get lazy and decide to only eat and pollinate once in a very short time frame. They'll get lazy that way, and sometimes so lazy and out of the habit of flying off to eat, they'll just lay there and be lethargic and die, even though there's plenty of food. The littlest intervention from man possible is what you need to strive for, whether they were a swarm bee being cultivated in a hive or bees that were bred. Here's some flying around. Not too many, though. They're starting to calm down now.